Welcome to a new release on the show. This is the 5 questions to nourish the mind, body and soul, to get to know the person sat in front of me a little bit more and ask them questions they wouldn't normally have. This has become very quickly one of my favourite parts of the interview. Now, we are re-releasing these because we released these months ago for our paid subscribers over on my newsletter, The Compassionate Cure on Substack. If you're not a paid subscriber, you will get these months in advance as being part of our community. However, we are now starting to release them. So enjoy. This is more of a personal connection and a shorter episode, but it really gets into the heart and not into the mind of the person who is sat in front of me. We are going to start by asking you the 5 questions to nourish your mind, body and soul. So I want to know a little bit more about you as a person. So my first question is, what is something that makes you uniquely you?
I like to always ask questions, especially about things that are common knowledge, especially where I feel there's a lack of evidence. So I'm really interested in getting to the bottom of things and finding out why we do things. I'm interested in evidence.
Okay, the curiosity, I would say, is something that maybe makes you uniquely you.
Yes, that's one way of putting it.
Okay, the next one is, what's been the most persistent area of resistance in your life and how did you overcome it?
From a personal perspective, I guess not having initially the courage of my convictions, and always being a bit, I shouldn't say intimidated, but perhaps challenged by the majority opinion, and therefore taking more time to develop what I wanted to do. So, for example, a lot of the research I'll be talking about, I sort of kick myself and feel, gosh, I could have done that 15 years earlier.
Isn't that amazing how, as we become wiser, we trust ourselves more?
Yes, that's right. And I think one has to go with one's gut instincts, of course, with evidence and good reasoning, and move along. But eventually we did, get the work done. But it's nice to have an intuitive feel for something and to actually go for it.
Yeah, I love that. Intuitive. It's one thing that we're never taught very much to listen to, but it's such a guiding compass, isn't it? And
it is. And I mean, I go a lot by gut feeling in all areas of my life now.
Great. I love that. I'm a big believer in that. I want to talk now about small changes and big impact. Okay, so what's the smallest change that has brought the most ease into your life?
From a personal perspective, I'm not going to claim to have too many skills or abilities, but one thing I'm good at is, I think, judging people and choosing talented people to work with me. So all the work I'm going to talk to you about has been supported by a really incredible research team. And you get a feel for people and whether they're going to really fly and shine. And I've been really fortunate to be surrounded by these people. The other is actually having a really supportive family, because the sort of hours and intensity of research and clinical academic life is such that, you have to make sacrifices.
Yeah, I think that is a very big impact, isn't it? So this is an interesting one. What's one health-related change that you've made that has significantly impacted your well-being personally? It could be anything.
I used to play, I don't play enough, the piano, which for me is the ultimate in relaxation. Yeah. Wish I'd played more, but I do play and listen to music. And then with a bit of badgering from my wife, I took up Pilates, which has also sort of improved my well-being in many ways. So not just physically, but also mentally, spiritually.
All of that.
It's a way of relaxing and feeling better. One can never do enough. Well, I suppose one can overdo exercise.
You can.
Oh, and of course, playing very bad tennis. And probably the ultimate, actually, my thing that brings relaxation and transforms my life is skiing. I grew up in Switzerland, and that's my probably one of my raison d'etre.
I mean, that is the ultimate transformation. You're doing exercise in the mountain air. That is a real transformation of health. I think if we could all live in the mountains, we'd be much healthier.
That's true. And actually, I tell a lot of my patients with allergies and dust mite allergy, jokingly, of course, move up to the Alps because all your allergies will disappear. And in fact, one of the reasons a lot of the lung, TB, and asthma sanatoriums were built at high altitude is because there's much less dust mite and everyone could go up and feel better. And they thought it was due to the fantastic advice they were receiving, but it was just a different environment. So
Wow.
there's something to be said for fresh, clean air, nature.
Absolutely. Oh, I feel that living in London. I'm going to go into dust mite allergies in today's show, so I feel like I've already got a leading question now. And the last one, which I think is more of a wisdom question, and I'm really intrigued to how you answer this, which is a bit about peace with the past. What's been the hardest thing for you to make peace with about yourself or your life in general?
Gosh, that's a bit of a curveball. Interesting question. I would say probably finding the right balance between family life and work. And I had no idea that going into clinical academic work would be so totally absorbing, consuming, that at times you're unable to think beyond that. One of the ways I've countered it actually is by going on holiday as much as I can, as much as possible with my family. And the funny thing I've found is that when you're on holiday, when you're not doing your work, that's when suddenly you get your best ideas. So you need that balance. And I learned that perhaps a bit too late, but now I try and follow it. So, I intend to spend 3 weeks now in the mountains in December with the telephone switched off and in a little village without cars or anything. And that's really, really important.
I was going to say, actually, I think that's the biggest health transformation.
It is. It is.
That's what I would say. Somebody yesterday who was on the show answered that question by turning their phone off in the evening and keeping it out of their bedroom and not looking at it for the first hour since they wake up. And you turning that off for 3 weeks and being in the mountains feels like the most ultimate health transformation someone can go on, because you're present and you are spending quality time as opposed to just spending time. You're nourishing your soul in other ways.
Yes, no, that's true. And actually, one of the few advantages of long-haul flights, which I have to do for my work, and I can't say I enjoy the travel side of it, is that at least on British Airways, it's virtually impossible to get Wi-Fi.
Yep.
And you're totally disconnected for 8 or 12 hours.
Yeah.
But
thank goodness for that. Well, Gideon, thank you so much. We are going to talk more about your research, allergies and everything, but I love that we touched upon that even within these questions. So thank you for just telling us a bit more about you.
Pleasure. I now feel more nourished.